Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Marriage Tune-Up. In honor of Mother's Day, we're going to be talking about what a son needs, mothering boys to men. Let's talk about it. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Marriage Tune-Up, where we are fine-tuning marriages one discussion at a time. Hey, before we go any further, I want you guys to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Our channel on YouTube is the Marriage Tune-Up. The Marriage Tune -up. Again, that's the Marriage Tune -up. So yeah, stop shacking with us and go ahead and commit to us, man. You know, okay, we in this relationship together. We need to commit, being committed. So yeah, go ahead and like this and subscribe to our channel. So yeah, so like I said before on the opener, we're gonna be talking about mothering our boys. Yeah. So before we go any further, let me introduce our panelists, our homegirls. Yeah, this is invite them back home to talk about mothering. So first we have Willa Thomas of 3D Financial. And welcome back. Welcome on home. And guess what? We have a treat today. We have Terry Ford. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about things. I really appreciate you stepping on in and talking to us about being mothers. You know, that's something that comes easy to us, I think, right?
I think so.
So I say, does it come easy to you, Willa? Because you took a breath like
I wouldn't say it always came easy.
Okay, true.
So especially, and as you have more, you hope that you kind of get better at it.
Right.
But the first one was probably not. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about it. Yeah. I thought, actually, on my first one, I thought I did, I did everything. I had the changing table. I mean, I took the pictures, first month, 3 months, 6 month, 9 month, year old, 18 month. Yeah, I did all that. Yeah. We, you go overboard for the first baby. You can't. The second baby, like that Love's commercial. The second baby, exactly. You know what I mean? I do enjoy being a mother. I do enjoy being a mother.
100% enjoy.
So yeah, do you guys?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And you may have had the changing table and did all the pictures, but that doesn't mean that you gave all you had.
You right. You right.
Utensils. That don't mean I used all them suckers. The spatula was still in the package.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember my godmother was going to give me a diaper service. And so I was like, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go disposable. I'm going to go disposable.
I tried the diaper service.
Really?
It was no fun.
I had it. I think I'm good on
with
that.
The first one, I just wanted to do everything by the book.
Yeah.
I took Lamar's class and felt like I followed the instructions one by one, but it couldn't hardly prepare you for real life child.
Like, your life is over. Your life is over. So
your life as you know it.
Is over, for real, So I was doing the research for our mothers, for our special today, and I was thinking, it made me think about last year. Last year we were talking about mothers and how we don't do self-care. And so let me ask you guys real quick, before we go further, how have you guys been doing just from a year ago?
Right.
We're kind of coming out of the pandemic now a little bit or whatever now. So but self-care is kind of like high on the priority list. So how you guys as mothers, how are you guys carving out time for self-care?
I would say, because I have adult children, it's not like my children.
I think we all do
pull at
me.
At
this point,
So I think I do a great job with self-care. I make sure that I have time to work out. I make sure that I have date nights with my husband. I think I take care of myself physically. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job.
Okay. Schedule a couple facials. Shout out to Skin-sation out there.
I do need to schedule a couple. Need to come see Miss India.
I honestly have not been doing the best with self-care. I'm aware though, and it's almost like in hindsight, I really need to take time to take time out for myself. So
Correct.
I do small things like the manicures and the pedicures and working out, but I really think I need to be intentional about really setting some time aside to just woosah.
Understandable.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I actually could do a better job in just taking time out to are you okay? Remember, I just sent you guys that
Yes,
text the other day,
right.
like, do a check-in. We need to do self-check-ins. Like, girl, Kami, are you good? No? Okay, then why not? You know, we need to do checkups on ourselves,
Right.
check-ins with ourselves. How are we doing?
Right.
You know, make sure everything is good. So, yeah. Okay, I was doing the research, and it says, I came across this quote, and it says, "It is my desire to foster loving relationships with my sons while raising men I'd be proud to launch into the world." What do you guys think about that?
I agree with that statement. I think, even though I was a young mother, I was very intentional about showing him love, and maybe a little more so than what I was received. Not that I didn't receive love as a child, but it was more intentional. We spoke regularly on a daily basis. We shared how we loved each other, and I think that was very intentional about. Even though you're a man or you're a young man, it's okay to show or express that type of emotion.
Okay. What do you think?
I would think for me, I think because he was my first child, I took 3 boys to men. And our relationship,
3 boys to men.
I had a special relationship with him because he came in a part of my life where I probably needed him just as much as he needed me. So he was the one person that I held on to that I knew that would love me unconditionally, which was something I felt I never had. So the bond that I felt with him, I would say to this day is still very, very special. And and because I've had 3 boys and I've never been a boy, it was kind of a challenge to know the right things to do and say because I've never walked in those shoes. So sometimes you tend to raise boys to be the men that maybe failed, to not be the men that maybe had failed you, be what you expected out of a man. So I took my role, and I probably didn't take it as serious. Not that I wasn't a serious mother, but I would say I parent my adult children better than I did my younger children, because I'm at a better point in my life of who I am. I would say my oldest child probably didn't get the best of who I am because I was still young, and as I became older, the next one got a little bit better, and then having the last one at a certain age, he probably got the best of me at that point. So
Aaron and I said that too.
Yes.
Keenan definitely got the best of us. He definitely, hands down, got the best of us.
Right.
Okay, so here's my question. First question: does a son need anything special from his mother? Kind of like what you're just saying right now. Do you feel like a son needs something special from his mother, like something that's directly coming from his mother that he can't get from his father?
I think the nurturing side for a young man 100% comes from his mother. The father is, in my experience, is more stern and structure and want to make sure that they grow up to be men and not, soft and things like that. So I think it was my duty as the mother of my sons to make sure that he wasn't going too hard, that, you're not being unfair, try to see his side of it. So I was always, I came from, I think, a more loving side, where my husband came from, I'm trying to prepare him side. So that was, and probably sometimes to a fault, but I'm always trying to cover and protect, and let him know, hey man, and I try not to correct my husband. I shouldn't say correct, but disagree with him in front of the children. But we might go in the room like, hey man, you don't need to clean that up.
Yeah.
I don't want to come behind you, but I will.
So okay, so I like that, Willa. Let me ask you this, Terry. So first of all, do you have anything with that? Does a son need anything special from his mother?
Well, I would definitely agree, the nurturing part. As a young son, and I think too, even though I didn't have any brothers, I was never really around young boys. I kind of played on the sidelines because I kind of left that to my husband to handle those types of things. Shout out to all the single moms that are doing a great job at it, because I really commend them. But I think that nurturing was definitely something that I was very intentional about, and it came easy for me. It was almost like playing dolls when you're growing up. This is how you rock the baby and things like that. So it was something that I was intentional with my kids.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, so again, so this the title of this show is what does a son need from a mom? Like, what are his needs from the mother?
Right.
That's what we really want to kind of
Right.
drill down on. What does a son need from his mother? So a son needs many things from his mother that are pretty obvious: unconditional love, time spent together, to be taught various life skills, and the grace to make mistakes.
I think that's very important. I'm sure we'll touch on each of them, but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's one. So yeah, let's unpack these things.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing is unconditional love. Do you feel like the sons need that
100%.
unconditional love?
Yes, I think that, it doesn't mean that they can do anything and you won't have an issue with it. It just means that you're going to love them beyond whatever their behaviors or their actions or their choices are, and they definitely need to know that I may not do the things that mom has agrees with, that I've been raised with, that the structure that, I may choose a different religion, I may choose a different person to love, but they have to know that beyond a shadow of a doubt that no matter what decisions I make, that I can always count on my mother to love me unconditionally.
Okay. So, well, I guess we should. What I define unconditional love with no limits. Like there's nothing, there's no condition, there's nothing that my child can do that will make me not love him.
Right.
There's no condition, there's no limit to my love for my child.
Absolutely.
With that being said, do you give unconditional love and acceptance to your child? Do you give unconditional love? And that's a good question, Kami. God, dog, I had to get into myself. Look, do you give unconditional love and acceptance to your sons?
The acceptance is kind of a catch-22. Definitely unconditional love. I mean, even the most heinous crime would not stop me from loving my child. I just don't think that I would definitely communicate with him my disappointment and how I think he should have handled a particular situation versus how he's handling it. But again, it wouldn't stop my love from him. It doesn't mean I accept it, but it wouldn't stop my love for him.
Yeah, I don't think you have to accept everything.
Okay.
But you do have to love them through it.
Okay.
There's some things that you just don't accept. It doesn't make, and they may not change their mind about how they choose to do things.
Give me an example. Put you on the spot right now. Give
It's
me,
okay.
give me an example, and I want you thinking too. Give me an example of something that your sons that you can love them unconditionally, but you're not gonna necessarily accept.
It's something. My first thing that I think of is doing things that are against the law intentionally.
Okay.
So you get caught up doing a crime. And I don't accept that type of behavior. It's not okay with me.
Okay.
But I love you through it. I'll walk alongside with you the first time. You get caught the second time. It's like, all right, let me know what the judge say. Yeah. So even that, and then after that, it's like, amen.
Right.
So love them through it.
I love you through it.
100%.
And I'll be praying for you.
Absolutely.
That's the best thing I can do. I can pray for you.
So acceptance to me sounds like whatever you do, I'll accept it. When I'm saying whatever you do, I'm gonna love you in spite of it.
Right.
So that's the difference for me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't accept. I think something that I would not accept. I would not accept my son giving up on himself and not being motivated to be the best that he could be, to be the best. I would not accept that. No, you would not get it. You can get. I'll love you through it, and I'll pray for you, but I will not accept you giving up, in essence, giving up on yourself. You're not being true to who you are. You a Cooper, dude. You're not just gonna give up on yourself and not be motivated to do what to walk in your purpose or to walk, what I mean, to move forward. So I wouldn't be accepting of that. So yeah. But I will love you through it and pray for you. And sometimes it may have to be from a distance. I'll go ahead and say that too.
Yeah.
Just put that out there for free. It may have to be from a distance. Don't mean I don't love you.
Right.
Just means that, hey man, I can't accept. Yeah.
Yeah, and before it's from a distance,
in my shakrando. You know what I mean?
before it gets to a point where it's from a distance, I have to feel like I have given, done, said, held on, cried, everything with you before I get to the point where I have to distance myself from it, because I have to feel like I'm empty of that thing. So I never want to live life with regrets and say if I had just did this or if I didn't do that, if I wasn't so harsh, and it's kind of difficult to walk that line, trying to be where you're setting a standard while you're still loving and having the conversations. But they do have to feel like they can just kind of throw up on you, and you just kind of stand there, and even though on the inside you might be going, God, I can't believe we're going through something.
Right.
But you can't. You have to have a poker face because they have to feel like they can just
Absolutely.
you're that person.
Absolutely. I think that, and I hear you as far as I have to feel empty, but as you know, I believe that as you know, as a mother, I can't sit back if I've done everything. You're right. If I feel like I've done everything that I can do, I've given you all that I can give. I've given you, like Aaron always says, the tools in the backpack. Now you're an adult, and now I don't get to say, you know, when we were kids, boy, get over here and do. Now it's like, may I suggest to you that you know what I mean? If I've done all that I can do,
Right.
I've taken you this far, you still like, you know what? I'm not gonna accept your behavior. So it's at that point where, yeah, I will be empty of it. I'll
Right.
be, it would have to be at a distance.
Right.
I've done what I can do. Now it's the Lord. It's the Lord that's gonna have to carry you on
Right.
through. And I'm gonna be on, my mom called those knee babies. I'll be on my knees
Yeah.
praying and
Yeah.
everything. But the bottom line is we have to I understand, be empty, but yeah,
Yeah.
not accepting it,
And especially when they're, like you said, adults, you have to allow them to make their mistakes and kind of live with the mistakes that they make.
Put the cup
Because
down.
if we're always bailing them out,
Put
then
that
they're
cup
really
down.
not getting the lesson.
Put that cup down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw
It
this
is
guy.
so hard to do.
I just saw this guy just recently. Shout out to Keith Battle.
Yeah.
And said, go ahead and put that cup down. Like we as parents, sometimes
Yes.
what we do, and what he said is so true. Sometimes as parents, we will. If a kid is sick, we'll take the medicine expecting them to get well.
Right.
No, dude, you're gonna have to go ahead and go through that pain, and you're gonna have
Yeah.
to take this medicine, and you'll get well from that. Rather than I'm gonna take the medicine, but you're gonna get well. No. Put the cup down.
Yeah.
You go ahead and go through that. And it might have to be at a distance. Love you, but it may have to be at a distance. Go ahead. Well, you got anything with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of talking of hypotheticals, but I've actually was challenged with some certain circumstances with my oldest son, and it was hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to try everything I can and I'm walking away, because I always felt that there was just one more thing I could do. And it really put me in a place of not wanting to give up on my son. Whereas, there was discord in the household because of my decisions.
Right.
And, to a fault, it really could have been a disaster if, had it gone any further or gotten any worse. But I couldn't live with myself with, the possible consequences of him going to jail or even dying. And I made it my mission, actually, to help my son. And, of course, there was a happy ending. But, I'm sure it could have got to a place where I can't do this anymore. And, thankfully, God made a way for that not to
Amen.
be something
Amen.
that came to fruition.
How does your unconditional love for your child differ from your spouse, or does it?
It does.
How so?
No matter what my child does, they will always be my child.
I know where you're
Don't
going
laugh
with
at
this. I know. Ooh, it's hot in here. God damn.
And of course, I definitely believe that, divorce is not an option, but divorce is an option. I'm saying that there are some things that not only that he could do, but there may be some things that I can do that he would say, I'm out. So because he's not bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, I don't think he gets that same unconditional card that my children do, because no matter what they say or do or what I say or do, they will always be my children.
Yeah. And that's so hard. That's so hard. I could just hear my mama right now. My girl, I could hear my mama
Come through,
but I know she's gonna come for me. But that is so hard. You know what I mean? Like because I feel like, again, I always say, I feel like my children are me. So I feel like I really can't separate me. You know what I mean? Like there's unconditional love. It's almost having the love for me. You know what I mean? So it's like my children, something that came out of me, even though my husband is the other half, I still feel like, ooh, there's nothing that my son could ever do that can make me not love him. There's nothing. There's nothing on this earth that my son could do that could make me not love him. However,
That's all that coming.
that's all I got on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that
Just
right
put a
there.
period on it.
However,
Yeah.
You got something to on that? We want to move
Yeah,
on.
I disagree 100%.
You agree? Yeah. How it's just it's a hard thing.
It is, and I want to come from a Christian
Right.
perspective,
You be wanting to.
and I think that I think my perspective is a Christian perspective. I think it's just a real perspective, right? I stayed married because one, I believe that God ordains it, and that's how God would have it to be. But at the end of the day, they don't have divorce court because they got people in there that can't get divorced.
Pearl.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's just a real reality.
Right. You're right.
The
You're
courts
right.
are
You're right.
full.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So-
You're absolutely right.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's an option for me.
Today.
It's not an option. It's not an option
No.
until it's an option.
Until it's an option.
It's not an option until it's an option. So it's not right now. It's not an option. It's not an option. We're working through everything. We're getting
Absolutely.
through it. We working through it. We
The
loving
goal
through it.
is to put,
Yeah.
as Aaron would say, a toe tag body bag.
Yeah,
That's how we splitting.
Yeah. But you do right. I'm just kidding. Teach life skills. How to teach others. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't skip all the way down. Time spent together. So the things that so going back, a son needs many things from his mom. Unconditional love, time spent together, to be taught various life skills, and the grace to make mistakes. So let's talk about time spent together. I remember back in the day, me and again, I say my Keenan, my last son, he got the best of me and Aaron. But he really got the best of me because I was kind of crazy. But he
Don't run over that.
Yeah, I was kind of crazy. So we would have this thing called Mommy and Me Day. And Keenan, I remember he was little. He'd be like, Mom, because he had a lisp. So he'd be like, Mom, it's Mommy and Me Day today. So we would do these things where it would just be me and Keenan.
Right.
Like, I'll pick him up from school or whatever. We go do something, go get some ice cream, or go get McDonald's or something.
Right.
And me and Cameron used to have Mommy and Me Days when he was really, really little. Go fries, Mommy. We go get fries and stuff or whatever. So, but you know what? I think as they got older, we stopped doing that, and I think that right now, I think that's something that I need to re-implement. Is just spending time with my with my adult sons, and just being like just again kind of doing a check-in. How you doing? Things that they can. Praise God that they have two parents. They can talk to their mom and their dad. But but some things you want to just talk to your mom about.
Right.
Ken told me the other day, like, Mom, I didn't want to talk to nobody. I'm about to go in real quick. Hold on. But my son said that he's like, Mom, I didn't want to talk to nobody but you. You're the only person I want to talk about this with, and that just made me feel so good. Like, dude, my baby, he didn't want to talk to anybody else but his mother, and that just makes me feel.
Absolutely.
It just took me in. But I definitely need to implement that. Talking and checking in with them and seeing how they're doing. Playing. I'm still a mommy, so we can have Mommy and Me Day as of with our adult children. So let me ask you this question: do you ever plan time to spend alone with your sons? I know because your sons are married.
Right. I was going to say it's a little bit different because my position changes when they accept a spouse, or even when they're in a relationship where they're living together. But I still do try to. What did I like for David? I'll go out and I'll spend a day out there, because he's Baker Dave.
Yeah.
So I want to go out and surprise
shout out to Baker
him.
Dave.
Yeah.
Get it for Mother's Day. Go ahead and shout him out.
Delicious.
Yeah.
BakerDaves.com is his website.
Okay.
But I'll surprise. It's just more special to me when he's not expecting me to get there, and then I'll come and I have my little Baker Dave's T-shirt on, and he said, "You staying? I'm gonna stay with you all day." And I can just tell it just makes his day. So those type of things are special. But it's difficult to do those things now with the other two that are,
They have wives.
yes, they have wives.
Yeah. Position changed.
Yeah, position change.
How about you?
Actually, with my oldest son, he was an only child for 5-6 years. So it was a great mommy and son time growing up, and he was just that kid. He was my hip child, and even into his teenage years, we had a really good relationship, spending a lot of time together. As they get older, though, and different interests, girlfriends, and hanging out with the fellas, that time escapes you. My youngest, however, even into his teenage years, I was the one who transported him to high school, and we were able to have a lot of one-on-one time. And with COVID and a lot of in-home time, you had no choice.
Right,
You had no
right,
choice. So
right.
yeah, I would say that not only did it happen, I made it intentional for both my sons.
Okay.
And I was thinking one thing that's always very special to me is when my children come to me and ask me to pray for them or pray with them. That's always very special. I'm going on a job interview, or I was dating this girl and I don't know what to do, or I'm in a certain situation. Can you pray for me? So that is definitely.
Oh yeah.
Amen. Okay. Let's move on. Teach life skills to your sons. How to treat women, like how to treat others, like how to treat women. Those conversations that we're women.
Absolutely.
We could teach our sons how to I know the fathers are teaching how to open the door or whatever, but we can tell them what a woman likes. We could tell them, hey man, okay, we can kind of give our sons game. A woman like, hey man, she tripping like that right now, but guess
Hey,
what?
man,
She
she
gonna
ain't
be
the
back.
one.
Or she ain't the one. Mamas can see, man. She ain't the one,
Yeah,
man.
cry for a little while, but you're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be all right.
Keep it pushing.
We know.
Yeah.
We know. What talks have you had with your son that only can be received from a mom?
That's a difficult one, and because I feel like I'm always talking, but don't feel like I'm spitting game, but I feel like there's knowledge in every conversation that we have, so it's kind of hard to say specifically what the conversations that we've had. Come back to me on that one. I'll think about it for a minute.
I find it difficult too, only because I remember me at that age, and even though I'm a woman, I didn't think my parents really got it or really knew what they were talking about. So most times I kind of feed off of how they're feeling, and then we roll with conversation. I will comment, however, though, the things that he has learned about opening the car or complimenting me as his mother on a dress. I would not only thank him, but say, wow, you're going to make someone real happy in the future, so that he continues to do that.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
Okay. Well, what about this one then? What tools have you given your son that could only come from a mom?
Can only come from a mom. And I think that the tools from me are more what he's seen versus what I've said.
Okay. That's yeah.
So I think my children have all seen me as a strong woman, which sometimes is not the best thing, but they know hopefully to expect a partner that can hold their own, that is not so dependent on. I've never wanted anybody that's so dependent on me that I can't even sneeze, and So I think I'm trying to think what else that I would say. It's hard because my children are 33, 29, 20, so 30. Yeah, so I think.
Isn't David 31?
David is 31. Yes,
Yeah.
Donovan's be 20. Donovan will be 29 this year.
Yeah, Donovan be 29.
Yeah, so I think of these skills, and of course you still do things as your children become adults, but I think of these questions as things that you're doing as they're becoming young men, and it's been so long since I've had young men. But what I've tried to do is demonstrate a life before them as to what a woman would want and expect, and how you should treat them, and how the dialogue that their father and
That's
I have
good.
in front of them.
That's good. That's
making
tools.
sure that it don't get ugly in front of them. Try to
that's
keep
tools.
it behind closed doors. But also, I think it's also important to see us working out things.
Right. You know, it's so funny that you would say that. We were just talking about that with my mom and my dad on Sunday. We were just talking about that. I told my mom and dad. I've told my mom before, but I've never told my father before that I think that my mom and dad added to my fairy tale and or to my fantasy of how marriage was going to be,
Right.
because they didn't let us see the argument. I didn't. My mom and dad didn't let me see resolution. They
Right.
let me see a problem, and then they didn't let me see them working through the problem
Right.
to resolve it. They didn't let me see that. So when me and Aaron got into a marriage, we was like, okay, the cops is knocking because we
No problem resolution.
we don't have no problem. We know
Right.
neither one of us have
Right.
conflict resolution.
Right.
So it was crazy. So and and I'm thinking like, this is not what it was modeled before me.
Right.
This is not what marriage
I never saw anything like this.
I never
What? Yeah.
But I sure figured out how to cuss. I didn't see it, but I figured out how to cuss him out.
Right.
You know what I mean? He figured
Yes.
out how to So yeah, it was quite a challenge. But yeah, but it's good though.
And I think, and also for one of my adult children, I see him make sure he spends time on a specific day with his kids, making sure they're reading the Bible together. He takes them out on certain days so that they have their own little business. They sell candy. The importance of
Right.
how money
Entrepreneurship.
works and entrepreneurship. So. We didn't necessarily sit him down to do those things, but I love the fact that he takes time to pour into his children to see
Right.
the things that maybe he didn't receive that he wants to make sure that they have.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I got to ask this one. What do you hope you have modeled mostly as a woman to your young adult son? What's the one thing that you hope that you have modeled to your young adult son? You know, Kami, girl.
One thing, the first thing that I think of is, and what I believe that they absolutely have, each and every one of them, is an amazing work ethic. They don't have a problem with going out and working for what they need to support themselves or their families.
Yeah.
So I'm just going back to Baker Dave's. I can just spit out each one of them, but of course he wants bakery to be his full-time gig. But he realizes that there's some things that Baker Dave is not funding right now, so he's putting some things on the shelf as far as his business to go back to work full-time in order to fund some of the things that he needs until you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. So, and as far as Devin, he's been a hustler. I can't tell you how long. He don't mind washing a car, cleaning out a car, whatever it takes. He has been had an entrepreneurial spirit ever since. Gosh, I can't even tell you. And Donovan, his work ethic, they just have great work ethics, and I'm just very proud of that.
Hold on a second. Can you turn down the alarm, please? You know how to turn that down? You don't know how to turn it down? Okay. All right, never mind. Okay, well, yeah. You know what? We just being real right now. Like, you know, we recorded podcasts, and hey, we just got exterior
garage door.
It just happened. Okay, somebody came in. We all good. Okay. All right. So the last one is grace to make mistakes.
I definitely give that.
You do.
I do.
I'm going to tell you as your friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely
100%.
you definitely do that.
There's
Girl.
no judgment. My tone is like this the whole time. You think you could have done something different.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have always been the type of mother. I don't care if you drunk, then wrecked the car, ran away. Call me. I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, and not just those type of errors, just life mistakes.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I've always been the one to support because I felt like I won't say I didn't have unconditional love, but I lacked something as a child that I wanted to make sure that there was no excuse that I always gave what I felt like I was missing on.
Okay. Can you answer that question for me? Do you issue grace to your young adult son? I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. I think that it's important for him to know that there's no perfect person in this world, and if you're always striving to be this person that it's impossible, then you make it stuck. You may not move forward towards your goals. So I definitely allow my sons to make mistakes, as I mentioned earlier, but at the same time, I often intercede to say, okay, well, yes, you could have done this differently, but did you think of this? Or, I try to give
Right.
some, some kind of example or, some things that can help them along the way if they make the wrong turn.
I think that this is definitely an area that I need to work on, giving grace. I definitely believe that. Because wait, how's it go? So grace is the one that you don't deserve. That's mercy. You did wrong, and you deserve mercy. And grace is the, you know how.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, yeah, but anyway, I need to work on that.
Mercy is not giving you what you do deserve.
Right.
Grace is giving you what you don't deserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
That like that. Yeah. So I definitely believe that grace is something that I definitely need to work on with giving my, because I have a standard.
Yeah.
I have a standard, and I and I make sure that my kids know, or my sons know from here, you know what the standard is. And so sometimes, but here's the thing, to a great degree, I would say that they've met that standard. They have met, so I really haven't had to issue grace because they've met that standard. But I definitely could work on that area of giving more grace to my kids. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think what definitely helps me is I just look back over my own life.
Right.
And
Yeah.
think about some places I didn't been, I wasn't supposed to be, places I went.
Yeah.
It definitely it makes it so much easier for me
Yeah.
to extend that.
Yeah.
And also I'm not afraid to let them know when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's huge for me,
Now
especially
that's-
when I wrong them.
Right.
I definitely
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with letting them know that I'm wrong. Here's my thing, and I know my husband and I we go back and forth with this a lot, because I think everybody was raised like you saying, you lack something. You don't know. You're not saying that you didn't get unconditional love, but you feel like you lack something.
Absolutely.
So me as a child, I don't feel like I feel like I had. I mean, it was. I hate to say, well, I don't hate to say it, but the truth, my truth is that my childhood and my young adult life or whatever was good. I didn't have any real issues or whatever, and I don't feel like I lacked anything. So, and I felt like, and my mother and my father, they set the standard. They were very keen on that standard. So again, that was modeled before me. So I in turn did, it's like I in turn do that for my kids.
Right.
Now, could I, I can say that I definitely could give my kids more grace. I feel like my mom and dad, gave me grace too. I did wreck the car at Pizza Hut. My dad told me not to drive. I did do that. I did run away from home. I did do some crazy things. Went to college. Got pregnant out of wedlock. I did some crazy things. And so you're right. And that is what helps me when I'm like, okay, Cam, okay, so you did that or whatever.
Yeah.
I did that too. Okay,
Yeah,
so
right.
when you're like, okay, I did that too or whatever. But yeah, I definitely could still work on issuing more
Absolutely.
grace to my kids. Okay, one more thing that what does a son need from from his mother? I'm sorry. A son needs a mother to admit when she's wrong. What do you think about that? You agree or disagree?
I 100% agree.
He needs her to admit when she's wrong. Do you have an issue doing that?
Not at all. It's so funny. Not too long ago, my children are adults now, and we are in a group text, and I just on a whim was, recalling, some of the many mistakes I made as a mother, and just told them, how I felt, and just kind of expressed some things from my heart, and each of them just, oh, Mom, started crying, and and I think that even it's important even during childhood or whatever, Mom was wrong for that, but even as adults, when you can reflect back on some of those things, I definitely want them to know that I'm not a perfect mom. I do acknowledge the areas that I fell short or may have hurt you, and we can still talk about those things even as an adult.
Amen.
Yeah, I think that's very important. It's very hard when your children reflect and say, "Hey, you didn't get this right. You was wrong on this point." And I just think that every child goes through the phase of, well, you treated this one better than me, and they got to do this, and I didn't get to do that. Because I remember doing that with my sisters, and I just think every family goes through that. Every child goes through that. But I've had my son point out to me the things where he felt like things weren't fair or how I didn't do something right. And even though I may not always agree, but I still want you to know that I hear you and that I apologize for anything that you feel that I've done. And sometimes, I can say that, you're right, I did that and I should have done it. I'm but what I want you to take from every conversation like that is make sure you do better than me.
Right.
Because parenting don't come with
A book, a guide.
CD.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a very rewarding job, but it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart because
Man,
you're
you better say
responsible
that.
day in and day out for the
no days
lives
off.
of someone else.
There's no minutes off.
Yeah, so it's and they can always come back to you and say, I think it started with you. So and I don't think I took that as seriously as I should have when I was raising them younger. That's why I said I think I do a better job of raising older children because I see things differently now. So
Growth.
Yeah.
You mature.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Let's go this one. A son also needs to see a mother fail.
Yeah.
What you think about that, you guys?
You say so.
What'd you say?
I said, if you say so. I wouldn't say I'm really competitive, but I probably am. Fail at what?
Let me tell you this one. It says, when we allow our kids to see us fail, we show them a few things, including failure is okay. They don't need to be perfect.
True.
The beauty of success when they aren't urged to try again themselves. Knowing they are capable of seeing something through. Looking to God for help and wisdom, that discomfort is sometimes a necessary tool God uses to grow us. That's what failing shows them.
That I have to agree 100%. In fact, in our business, what I tell our team is, if you're not failing, then you're not trying. Yeah. So, and when you give me the whole scope of it, it is 100% correct that failure is a very important part of life.
Yeah.
Anyone who succeeded at anything can tell you a story about how they failed at it for a while before they actually made something happen. So yes, I think that it is important for a child to see a mother fail as well. Yeah.
What about a son needs to see his mother's faith, model her faith? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I definitely think that's important because there's inevitably going to be a time where they are going to have some type of challenge in their life. And I can only, what's fresh in my mind is, some of the recent situations I had with my oldest adult, and the two younger children were able to see me crying, sad, sulking, but ultimately praying for comfort. And I felt that was important because, again, you may have a tough day. My daughter, who's never been away from home, is challenged, and she can say, "Oh, I remember. I know what to do." And I definitely think that is important, particularly for boys, because they're going to be the head of a household at some point. And
Yes.
I definitely think that modeling that in front of them, and even the tears, is important for them to see.
Okay. You got anything else?
I was going to say really quickly that, of course, they see me go to church every Sunday. They need to see the same person that's in church at home Monday through Saturday.
Right.
So I think that's is very, very important that they see that you're not just praising God person on Sunday, then she raising all kind of hell when she in the parking lot.
Right.
But she should get back to the parking
Matter
lot.
of fact, she walking out the sanctuary, Kami.
So I think they need to see the life being led.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. A few rules for raising responsible, loving, responsible sons. Real quick, we're going to go through these real quick. Accept that our boys are wired differently. We definitely have to accept that. Boys are not, you know what I mean? Okay. This is what I want to just touch on this one a little bit more than just what I just running through it. Talk about sex. Do you agree that do you think that a mom should talk to her son about sex?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why you feel like a woman should talk to her, a mother should talk to her son about sex.
I think it's important for a mother, and I said it earlier, that there is no conversations that's off the table. You can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna tell, hey, make sure you using protection, do this. Donovan and I have this strange relationship that we like making people like, I can't believe he said that. Because we just have this very open relationship. He can come and say, hey man, y'all need to close your door because I heard y'all, or something, something crazy like that. So I definitely have always, I won't say which son it was, but I remember walking into their room and they were pleasuring themselves. And I was like, "Hey man, make sure you get a towel because when you get excited, when you finish, you're gonna need to have some place to."
Are you
That was
serious,
just
Willa?
my conversation. I'm thinking about you're gonna get excited. Eventually, you're gonna finish. Where you gonna put it? Yeah.
Are you serious?
Get your rag, and next time, close the door all the way. Yeah,
What?
that would be me.
Wow. Would you have a conversation with your son?
I've never had those types of
Yes.
conversations.
Mortified.
I think that it's an unspoken, you're in that shower for a very long time. Get out of that shower. But I
Ooh,
think that,
Lord.
like Willa, I think that there really needs to be a place where your children feel comfortable to talk to you about anything. And one of the things I've said is, hey, there's not much I haven't heard, seen, or experienced myself. So if there's anything, we have talked about pornography and sex and, some of the dangers. I know one of my girlfriends tells her sons, it's going to fall off. I thought that was so funny. So, no, I'm very intentional about telling them the truth, and not really scaring them, but just really telling them.
It says right here, don't blame or shame. Porn may be their first entry to sex, and from a younger age than you like. So talk to them about fantasy versus reality. Talk to them about moderation. Talk to them about romantic love and mutual consent. Talk to them about rape. A mom should talk to her son about that. What do you think about those things?
I would say that at some point that there was some conversation that when a girl says no, that means no.
Even if you're in the middle.
It doesn't matter at what point.
Stop.
Yes.
That no means
because
no.
you never wanted to come back to say that he took advantage of me or yeah.
Yes, I agree. I think those types of conversations are very important. In fact, even keeping themselves safe. Recently, there was something in the news about, internet pornography. You think you're talking to a teenage girl or a young woman exchanging photographs, and it's someone trying to blackmail you. A lot of these young men are getting caught up in these situations. So I have to sit down, and I'm sad that you have to have these types of conversations.
Right.
But we definitely are,
At different time.
yeah, taking the time to do that.
Okay, if we surrender our children to the fact that we are not in control of everything that happens to them, we will experience a lot of freedom, as well as help them to make choices for themselves and learn the consequences of those choices. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
It sounds really good.
Until you
very
have
hard to do.
Yeah, very hard to do.
Yes.
A sound check for our engineer, please.
Time check.
Yes. What did I say? Sound
Sound.
check? I'm sorry. Time check? I can't see that. Sorry.
13.
13 minutes. Okay. Let's talk about how mother influences her son really quick. Emotionally, a mother can influence her son by being emotionally, helping them to be emotionally intelligent. Boys who share a healthy relationship with their mothers from their early childhood are emotionally strong and believed to have less behavioral problems in their lives. The strong bond between the mother and the son makes him feel secure and confident. Studies indicate that boys who do not have a healthy bond with their moms in early childhood could be hostile and aggressive in their later years, or insecure in relationships and establishing goals, among other things. You guys agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I remember my son, oh gosh, he was probably 3 or 4, and one of the things he used to say was, Mom, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And not only did it warm my heart, but it really made me think, this kid is entrusting me with his heart, not realizing, these are the things that he's like at this innocent and most vulnerable time of his life, that I have to make sure that I protect that. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. Do you agree that how a mother could influence her son to be emotionally intelligent?
Right. So I guess that kind of ties into
Yeah.
expressing your
Good deal.
emotions.
Good deal. It's also emotionally strong and independent. A boy who is loved and cared for by his mom turns into a confident man. A study published in August 2011 edition of Child Development says that unconditional love and acceptance, there's acceptance again, of the mother reassures the son that he is lovable and capable of being a good friend and lover. The study also reveals that the more loving a mother is, the fewer the chances that the boy is being distant and cold, or becoming distant and cold. Sorry. I agree with that as well.
I agree. I mean, that's something that we kind of knew. If he's got a good relationship with his mother, then there's a good chance that he would have one with his future wife or girlfriend.
Respecting women. A woman has, if a mother has influence on her son, he will more than likely respect women. A close relationship with the mother will help a boy appreciate her role in his life and her contribution to the family. He will learn to respect women in general because he is less likely to have superiority issues with the female counterparts. What do you think about that one, May?
I think that's a very good statement. Yeah, I think for me, because I've always been my mother's child, I've always been a strength. I'm telling you, my mama Pearl, like, hey man, if you can't do it, I'll do it my doggone self. and that's just the woman that I have been. And I do think that that strength can be seen as not a good thing.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yes. So I think that has affected at least one of my sons negatively, to see that I'm out of order in some things. And he would tell me, you're out of order. So
I love your transparency.
yes. So it definitely makes me look at myself, and because I'm trying to do what I think, hey, if it got to be done, I'm doing it.
That's what,
hey,
yeah.
hey man, shoot,
Yeah.
I ain't got all day. Whatever it is, I can do it.
Yeah.
But in just recent times, I've learned that that may have been something that has been detrimental to how he views women, because I'm in his eyes trying to take the place of what a man is supposed to do, and it just hasn't been. It makes me look. And those one of those times that I have to say, forgive me. That it wasn't my intent to do anything that would make you view it in a negative way, and if it has, then I take ownership of that, and try to make some changes and try to mend what I may have broken.
Here's my thing, though. I just want to say to you, just speaking to you real quick, that I understand that, what you're saying. However, you have to. I believe that your son has to know the whole story of your childhood. How, of things. At a certain time, you have to be strong, or you may have had to do things, or they wouldn't have gotten done, and you might not be where you probably would not be where you are if you had not gone ahead and taken them. Some things and there are some times and some things that where you had to take the lead. You didn't have a choice,
right?
So if you didn't, then hey, sometimes here's my thing. Sometimes you have to be. You might have to be out of order,
and and sometimes, Kate, you don't I didn't understand a lot of things about the things my mom said, did or felt,
right,
until I walked in her shoes.
There you go.
So you can have thoughts, opinions, and they may even be correct, but until you're in that same situation, you never know what you'll do.
Girl, so, I got a story. I got a story for that. I got a story for that.
And another thing it's because I have 3 boys. They're all different. I always call them my vanilla, chocolate, and
chocolate chip
and strawberry babies, because raised in the same household, but just 3 totally different perspectives, 3 totally different personalities. So it's even, and everything that you say on this list may not apply specifically to each one of them. They have a different answer depending on which child you're talking about.
Right.
But they're all totally different, and of course they're all boys, men, but there's still some circumstances that are different because they're totally different people.
Amen. Let's move. Let's do the. I got a hard one for you guys. What's under the hood? Again, what's under the hood? We're talking about what is something that we really don't want to expose, but we need to expose. We need to expose what's under the hood. It's things that we keep covered. Okay. So, do you have any regrets with how you have raised your sons? Do you have any regrets with how you have raised your son? Let me go first and tell you, yes, I absolutely have some regrets with how I raised my sons. I was just telling my son today that man, if I could have a do-over. If I could have a do-over and be 27 again when I had Cameron, I would do a lot of things different. I would do a lot of things different. I would, although we introduced him to Christ or whatever, we didn't model it.
Right.
We definitely didn't model it, and there's some things that my kids saw in us when when the cops was knocking and we were doing things or whatever that I wish that my kids didn't see.
Right.
I've said some things that I wish that I didn't say. I've done some things that I wish I didn't do, that may have scarred my kids.
Right.
So therefore, yeah, I absolutely have regrets in the way, and some of the things that I did to raise them.
Right. I would have to.
And it's only by the grace.
Right.
It's only by the grace.
Absolutely.
Talking about that grace again.
100%.
It's only by the grace
Yeah.
that they okay.
Yeah.
That they're mentally intact.
Right.
Because man, I didn't go through that as a kid.
Right.
But I put that on my kids.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I have regrets. I live with regrets
Yeah.
with that.
I would say I'd live with regrets as well. Of course, Brian and I are 31 years in, but honey, it took a bit to get to these
Come on
these
now.
years. So, the cops didn't come knocking, but there was, I'm sure, some things said, done, things that were seen that children should not see, and some conversations that they were a part of that they should not have had any idea of what was going on.
Yep.
So 100%, there are definitely some regrets that it has formed them in a certain way of ideas. And Donovan always talk about, Dad, remember that time your mom was arguing, you threw the pager at her and it hit the door? We're like, no, I don't know
No, I
what you're
remember
talking
that. What you talking about?
Yeah,
What?
so
Been like, God,
yeah.
I still remember that
He
thing.
was
Yeah.
5, 7.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so definitely some regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I too have regrets, things I've said, things I've done, that not only affected them, but really kind of developed them into the individuals that they are today. So there are things that, I definitely wish I could go back and change, starting at a very young age. I mean, I was a baby myself, so my oldest, we kind of grew up together. We were friends. We were the fun parents in the neighborhood, the young parents. So I was learning, and the things that I did with my oldest, I said, okay, that's what not to do with the youngest. But I went to the extreme with them too, because they kind of grew up sheltered. So in hindsight, I would make all kinds of changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. So we all agree we would all
Yes.
change. All right, JM2C, let's get to it real quick. Hello, TMU family. Thank you for accepting my letter. My name is Beverly, and I'm a 61-year-old. My husband passed away 9 years ago, and I live alone here in California. I have 4 adult sons who are all married with children. I'm writing you about my youngest son and his wife. My baby son and I were extremely close. He got married to his high school sweetheart last year, and his wife gave birth to their first son 3 weeks ago. Here's where I need your advice. After his wife gave birth to their son, I wanted to go and spend time with my new grandson and help my son adjust to being a first-time father. My son told me that he asked his wife, and his wife said that now is not a good time to come because they needed to bond with their son. The other day, when I talked to my son on the phone, I could swear I heard his wife's mother in the background playing with the baby. I asked my son, and he said his mother-in-law flew in for a few weeks to help her daughter. I told my son that I was very hurt and I couldn't come to help, but she could come. My son apologized but said that he only wants to support his wife at this time. Am I wrong for being hurt? Sign, boy mothers have feelings too. I felt bad for her.
I as a young mom, I didn't want to put on a face that I didn't know what I was doing, and to my mother-in-law, I wanted this picture painted that things were under control, and being a new mom, you would definitely reach out to your mom if you needed help.
Yeah.
So I think that she needs to understand that, maybe put herself in the woman's shoes, and maybe speak to her again. I wouldn't just let it go. I would probably let her know, my feelings were hurt, and that I could be just as much of a help as her mother is.
What you think?
So the question is, was she wrong for feeling hurt?
For feeling hurt.
No, she wasn't. because
all you got?
I mean, because it's now had you left it at we want to spend time and bond with our son. I was like, okay, Beverly, you gonna have to stay at the house,
Right.
But then when the other mama there,
Right.
then then I'm coming too, doggone it.
Right.
Tell her to scoot over. We gonna
We share a bed.
we gonna both be in there.
Yeah, period.
So
Same bottom.
I remember when Ryan was born, and I felt like her side of the family was getting to see or do more things than I was, and Dan was like, "Mom, you tripping?" I was like crying, and he's like, "Mom, you okay?" Because boy moms have feelings too.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I feel Beverly's pain.
I feel it too.
Yeah.
And I don't even have
You don't have
grandkids
it,
yet.
right.
I don't have grandkids, and I feel Beverly. Yeah. So let me go ahead and say, Miss Beverly, no, you absolutely were not wrong. I felt like, and then, here's the thing too, because she said that her and her son were very close.
Mm-hmm.
She had 4 boys, and she said that they were very close. And so, and her husband passed away. I get that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna be real transparent right now. I worry about that. I worry about that right now for my kid. I'm like, I never wanted to have girls. Never wanted to have girls. I wanted to have boys. But then now I rethink that now. Because I'm thinking
Too late.
because girls don't leave their mamas.
Right.
Boys do.
Right.
But when my wife said, and when he said, like, when my wife said, I'm just trying to support
Yeah.
my wife right now. I'm
Right.
like, well, God, dog, it Beverly got feelings too. But why Beverly mama get to come and she can't come? I'm mad. So
Right.
and you just don't do your mama like that. You know what I mean? So I Miss Beverly, you know what? Go ahead and talk to him. And like I would say what Terry said
Right.
too. I would talk to her. I would talk to maybe give her a little weeks. She got postpartum and everything or whatever. But after she's done with that, I would tell her, hey, I mean, because boys' moms matters too. Their feelings matter. Their
too,
feelings matter too.
yes.
So yeah. So
Yeah, it's different being. My son let me know I'm married now, and basically she comes first. And okay,
Yeah.
and as she should.
Absolutely,
She
as
should. She absolutely should. But I'm
But listen,
telling
little
y'all,
boy, I don't need you telling me that. I know she come first.
I remember at your wedding. At the wedding, Donovan said that you gonna always be his queen. You gonna. But now you gonna wait. Now he got something. Ashley is something else now. Something like I don't something. But he just said, you had to move over now.
Right,
Now there's,
and
now
I
now there's a
respect him
new
for
queen.
that. Yeah.
Now there's a new queen.
Yeah.
There's a new queen.
100%.
Yeah, but you always still gonna be his
Yeah,
queen. But now there's
absolutely.
there's
Yes.
a queen. Yeah.
So
yeah. Queen
I
one.
respect that.
So yeah.
But I would have a problem if her mama was up there and I
Girl,
was there.
girl, yeah. And you told me
And
I
I'm
couldn't
let you
come.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm flying in.
Right. I'm driving.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
She
yeah.
better be gone when I get there. No,
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
We go all kumbaya together. But that's it. That's all we got today for boys. What is it? What a boy needs? What a son needs. What a son needs.
Raising boys to men.
Raising boys to men.
Yeah.
So that's all we have for us today on Marriage Tune Up. Thank you for watching this episode.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the
Yes.
mothers out there, all the mothers to be out there. Happy Mother's Day. And thank you for watching this show. And we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode.
Right.
Until that time, see ya.
Peace.
Woke up, still smiling, sun shining, feel fine. And yo, it's one person I got to thank. And no, it ain't your mama or your Uncle Hank. It's Jesus, the one that'll get you going, keep you flowing high. You already know, and he'll lift you up, pick you up, get you up. He'll set you up in a life with less strife. That's just right, with pure love and more light. As long as you live it, mama, he got you. And now that you free, what's the plan for you? You better get him, let him, live him, kiss him, miss him, bug him, hug him, love him. And please stop talking this, that, and the third. And just focus on God in his word. Cause I'm lit, I'm free, the light I see. Switch it up, I'm lit, I see the light